Tonight, a CBC Fifth Estate investigation. How Buffy Sainte-Marie's claims to Indigenous ancestry are contradicted by family members and documents. Also, Saskatchewan teachers vote 95% in favor of sanctions because of a contract impasse.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, October 27th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening, and thank you for watching. For decades, Buffy Sainte-Marie has been celebrated as a world-renowned Cree singer-songwriter. Born, she has said, on a First Nation here in Saskatchewan. But now there are serious questions about those claims. Through a months-long investigation, the Fifth Estate has found serious contradictions in her story after examining genealogical records and hearing family accounts. Jeff Leo led that investigation and takes us through it now.
Though Buffy Sainte-Marie is in her 80s, she continues to be celebrated as a voice for Indigenous people. Just last year, a concert was held in her honor at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa.
Buffy Sainte-Marie has led the way for Indigenous music on this beautiful land.
After her career took off in the 1960s, Sainte-Marie claimed to be Cree, born on the Piapot First Nation in Saskatchewan. She has said she was adopted as a baby by an American couple, Albert and Winifred Sainte-Marie, who raised her in Massachusetts. She says later in life she went back to Piapot and was adopted by a family there. She has won multiple awards reserved for Indigenous musicians and is considered to be the first Indigenous person to have won an Oscar for her song, Up Where We Belong. However, her niece, Heidi Sainte-Marie, says her aunt's ancestry story is an elaborate fabrication.
I mean, she's clearly born in the United States. She's clearly not Indigenous or Native American.
The Fifth Estate obtained Sainte-Marie's birth certificate, which indicates she was born in Stoneham, Massachusetts, to white parents, Albert and Winifred Sainte-Marie, the very people Sainte-Marie claims adopted her. Her lawyer says that document may not be authentic, but the Stoneham town clerk says that's not possible.
I can say absolutely with 100% certainty that this is the original birth certificate. She was not born in Canada.
Métis lawyer Jean Théier is an expert on false Indigenous ancestry claims.
They're taking that opportunity from a real Indigenous person.
She says Sainte-Marie's story follows what has become a familiar pattern in Canada.
Buffy's a good musician and she writes beautiful songs and she's done some amazing things. Did she have to do it in red face? That's the question, and I would argue that she didn't have to. She chose to do that.
On Facebook Thursday, Sainte-Marie posted a video response to the allegations that she called deeply hurtful.
But there are also many things I don't know, which I've always been honest about. I don't know where I'm from, who my birth parents are.
We asked Buffy Sainte-Marie for an interview about the genealogical records that we uncovered, as well as the contradictions in her story, but she declined our request. In a letter from her lawyer, she said that Ms. Sainte-Marie has never misrepresented any details about her ancestry to the public. Jeff Leo, CBC News, Toronto.
Reaction continues to pour in the wake of this CBC investigation. That includes from Piapot First Nation, where Buffy Sainte-Marie says she has deep ties. Chief Ira LaValle continues to maintain the singer was traditionally adopted into the community decades ago, and they've been rooting for her ever since.
Buffy wasn't just Buffy to Piapot, she was Buffy to our whole country, like all Indigenous people everywhere. A lot of times, you know, we travel around we call Indian country, different communities around. I say, where are you from? I say, I'm from Piapot. Well, where's that? And we explain where it is and never heard of it. Well, have you heard of Buffy Sainte-Marie? I said, yeah, of course. Well, that's where Buffy's from, right? That's how I would explain, you know, where I'm from somebody who doesn't know. Like, for a long time, we're proud of that. When Buffy won an Oscar, we all won an Oscar, right? She took us all along for the ride, and she meant a lot to us. So now with this revelation, I'm curious to wait and see what the majority of our people think about her career and these new revelations. Like I said, regardless, Buffy will always be part of our community, regardless whether this current cancel culture affects her or not. We're not going to turn our back on her. She will always be a part of our community, as she always was.
Some veteran Indigenous journalists are also weighing in. Carrie Benjo, the managing editor of Eagle Feather News, says she was skeptical when she first heard about this investigation. Now, after seeing the facts laid out, Benjo says she feels differently.
For me, it's about truth. You know, we talk about truth and reconciliation. We talk about we need to have, you know, accept the truth, regardless of how difficult it is. And so we also, as Indigenous people, have to accept this truth because it is real. And we're not calling into question her family ties. That familial relationship still exists. You know, I have adopted family who are non-Indigenous, and I call them my sister and that. But the thing is, those people don't claim to be automatically Indigenous just by proximity. And she's accepted into the Piapot community. She's family, she's an auntie, she's all this to that. And all of this doesn't change that. She's still family.
Kameo Capo is a residential school survivor from Muscopeding Saulteaux Nation. It's about 10 kilometers away from Piapot First Nation. Capo says since he was a kid, Sainte-Marie has been considered a hero to people in the area. He says these revelations about her Indigenous ancestry leave both 60s scoop survivors and especially young people hurting.
It's not so much as adults. We can take it. We've been through so much already, right? We can accept this, we'll take it. It's the children and the youth of today who look up to Buffy, who gives them hope, gave us hope. So it's giving them hope. And our communities, like the children I work with, and you can see they need somebody like Buffy. And so those are the ones that are that I'm concerned with most. Adults, you'll get over it, whatever, man. But it's the children that really need this. So it's like a star has fallen. So how do we replace that?
The Fifth Estate's investigation, Making an Icon, is streaming now on YouTube, or you can watch it tonight on CBC Television at 9 p.m. and on CBC Gem. Without a contract since August, 95% of teachers who voted this week have given their union the power to take job action. The Saskatchewan Teachers Federation President Samantha Piapot announced the results this morning at an STF conference in Saskatoon. It was followed by a standing ovation and chants of "Enough is enough" by the roughly 200 delegates. Piapot says no action is planned at the moment, but that could change if negotiations continue to stall.
It is incredible. It shows clearly that teachers are ready to stand up to this government that continues to underfund our public education system. They have said enough is enough. We need to start to see a commitment to fund education properly. We need to start to see investment in our children so that every child across our province has the ability to be successful in their pre-K to 12 education.
Government officials have said they are willing to talk. The two sides have been bargaining since June. Piapot says the government is rejecting most of their proposals and they are not close to a deal. 90% of Saskatchewan teachers participated in the vote. In a statement this afternoon, the government says a conciliation board will be established in the coming weeks to help the bargaining committees reach a new collective agreement. Patients in Regina are facing long wait times for breast biopsies, a procedure that determines if a lump is cancerous. A Regina woman was referred for one in August, and she is still waiting. Laura Sharpaletti has the story.
I've been really trying hard to stay in the anger stage, because if you go to the acceptance phase, you stop fighting.
Lindsay Rogers found a lump in her breast in April. Her doctor discovered another in June. After an ultrasound, Rogers was referred for a breast biopsy to determine if one of the lumps was cancerous. That was August 23rd. The 35-year-old with a history of breast cancer says she was told she would have to wait 2 weeks. 2 months later, still no biopsy. Now she's been told she'd have to wait till at least November. Rogers says with each delay, her fear and frustration grows.
I've noticed it's grown, and they said you need doctor referral to say it's grown, which I did and nothing changed. But that's not on the health professional's fault. They are so backed up that they can't do anything about it.
The long waits are being blamed on a shortage of medical radiation technologists and specialized breast radiologists. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says 3 of these positions are vacant in Regina.
It's a priority for us as a government, and it is, and we take these, each and every one of these individual cases, we take them seriously, because again, these are people in our communities.
Meanwhile, a Saskatoon family physician says he would like to see regular progress reports from the Ministry of Health about training, hiring, and retention.
There's a lot of things that line up between, oh, I feel a lump in my breast and I need to have surgery and treatment for a cancer. And so we need all cylinders firing.
Rogers says she needs more than words from the ministry. She also wants the specialists to have some input.
You need to ask them what they need. Don't tell them what they need. Don't guess what they need. Talk to them.
The SHA says it has extended hours of service, overtime, and locum support to backfill radiology shortages. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Regina.
In Saskatoon yesterday, a city bus and a school bus, both carrying passengers, collided, causing the city bus to veer into a tree on someone's front lawn. It happened at the intersection of Hazen Street and Alexandra Avenue. A man who lives across the street caught everything on his security camera. The footage appears to show the school bus making a full stop. It then drives forward onto Hazen Street before the crash with the city bus, which was traveling northwest on Alexandra Avenue. And that tree that was hit is in front of a home that runs a daycare while there were kids inside. The owner says they see near misses and honking all the time.
Signage we feel is not clear enough, or there could be a 4-way stop. And we do worry about the fact that there are a lot of kids here, including a daycare and including schools down the street. And we'd like that to, we've hoped that they would fix it, but they keep telling us that this is not a high enough collision area, so that they aren't going to do anything about that.
Both Saskatoon Public School and the Greater Saskatoon Catholic School Division have said the students on the school bus were not theirs. Saskatoon police have said there are no details on potential injuries. The city says there was a review and study done on the intersection in 2022, but they determined it did not meet the criteria for an all-way stop. Stay with us. We'll have more news after the break. Welcome back. Air Canada is reaching out to some passengers, offering to settle their compensation cases. The Canadian transportation industry has a backlog of more than 61,000 complaints, cases that could take more than 18 months to resolve. But some people say what the airline is offering feels like a raw deal. Sophia Harris reports.
After Air Canada rejected Samantha Smith's compensation claim, she took her case to the Canadian Transportation Agency. But it's stuck on a big backlog.
The wait time between when you submitted your case and when it is reviewed can be more than 18 months.
So she was hopeful when Air Canada sent her this email. It mentioned the long wait.
There is a significant backlog of cases before the CTA at this time.
And it offered to settle her case now. The offer, $225 or a $400 travel voucher. That's in addition to a $700 voucher already offered. But Smith believes she's owed more than $1,400 in cash for an overnight flight delay.
$225 doesn't even cover my out-of-pocket expenses just for the hotel room. And so these alternative offers, in my view, are a way to try and pressure people into accepting less than what they deserve.
CBC News spoke with 5 passengers who said Air Canada offered them less than what they believe they're owed. Even so, 2 said they agreed to a settlement rather than wait out the CTA backlog.
It's really kind of unconscionable.
This consumer rights advocate says Air Canada shouldn't meddle in the CTA process.
It's an abusive use of an offer to try to get consumers to agree to something just because there's delays and they might be desperate to get their money back.
Under federal rules, airlines must pay up to $1,000 for lengthy flight delays, plus cover accommodation if the airline is at fault. Air Canada says it pays full compensation for valid claims and is offering different negotiable deals to wrap up claims it deems invalid.
It's just more convenient.
This professor says settling claims informally is more efficient than battling it out at the CTA.
Air Canada, in this case, would have to have people designated to actually respond, make arguments.
As for Smith, she didn't accept Air Canada's offer and plans to endure the wait to try to get the compensation she feels she deserves. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
This weather update is brought to you by Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
Oh, we made it to Friday, and our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. Is the forecast going to make me want to catch a flight away from here?
Well, I'll tell you what, Sam, maybe a little bit of some rough skies over portions of the province today. Specifically, if you were in the Lake Diefenbaker area, because here's a look at what we saw in that part of the province. And if you can make it out, yes, that is a funnel connected to the clouds there. You've heard of water spouts. You may have heard of dust devils, those kind of tornadoes that spin up all the dust and dirt on the ground. This is technically referred to as a steam devil. And basically what happens is you have the air much colder than the water, in this case Lake Diefenbaker, and we have definitely been seeing those well below seasonal conditions over these past few days here. And then you have what is relatively still warm water, especially considering that we haven't gone into the deep freeze yet. We've had a pretty warm summer and fall, and a little bit of wind added to that, and then you get kind of the air being forced upward and spinning and spiraling and taking that steam off the lake and creating a steam devil. Thankfully, no damage here. I also saw some photos of a couple in Alberta today, and of course, well, temperatures, you take a look at them, those are well below seasonal still, into the mid to upper minus single digits. Further north you go, though, we did have a warm day in places like Prince Albert and Hudson Bay comparatively, and still quite a bit of cloud cover, as you saw in that photo, through much of the province today. Some breaks of sun here and there, and even a little bit of some flurries and light snow moving through west central Saskatchewan and into Saskatoon. And this is a pattern that's just going to kind of stick with us for the next couple of days. Maybe some breaks of sun in extreme southern and eastern sections tomorrow, and again, probably some flurries or light snow as we head into Sunday as well. But kind of the next big system is going to mostly be impacting Manitoba. It's this low pressure system here. Might be bringing through a few centimeters of snow to northern Saskatchewan. Try saying that 10 times fast. And then we have this area of high pressure moving in as we get into Monday, and that is going to try its best to give us some substantial sunshine, but it'll probably take a couple days to get settled. Winds tomorrow and Sunday, a bit breezy at times, nothing too out of the ordinary here, but especially on Sunday, province-wide as that low-pressure system moves through, that's likely when we will see those winds pick up a bit. And this is part of the reason why we have been in this stagnant pattern. You see this kind of hairpin-shaped ridge of high pressure off to the west of us. That is slowly going to break down and not be quite as amplified over the next few days. And this big trough starts to move out east. They've been seeing very nice temperatures into the 20s in Ontario. That likely going to come to an end. And for us, that means that things, well, for the foreseeable future, will be sticking about the same, looking around -5 for our highs in Regina over these next few days. Again, hopefully some more sunshine as we get into Monday, but things getting a little breezier. Halloween not looking too bad. Mix of sun and cloud with a high of -2 and things getting a little warmer after that. Saskatoon will be at -4 tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies, and then again progressively sunnier as we head into the week. Halloween, well, that should say 0, not -0, I guess. Oops. And then the temperatures getting a little cooler, but cool enough still, Sam, for maybe a few more of those steam devils yet.
That actually made my jaw hit the floor. I didn't know you could get those in winter.
There you go.
We're not in winter yet.
Yes.
Sure feels like it.
It does.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
Stay with us. We have more news after the break.
When it comes to your news, you want up-to-the-minute access. Anytime, anywhere. Get the facts straight from the source. Download the free CBC News app or visit cbcnews.ca for news you can trust.
Israel says it is stepping up its strikes on Gaza, both from the air and on the ground. The announcement came in a televised news briefing. It ignited renewed speculation that a major ground offensive may be imminent. Israeli warplanes had already struck several places earlier today. Hamas officially says the campaign has killed 7,300 people so far. Hamas releasing its Israeli hostages conditionally on a ceasefire. The militants also fired rockets at Tel Aviv today, injuring 3 people. Hamas took 200 hostages and killed more than 1,000 people when militants attacked southern Israel October 7th. In Gaza today, UN officials say aid work is crumbling, the last remaining public services are collapsing, and people are going hungry. And Ethan's back with one last look at your weather.
And cloudy still through southern Saskatchewan. No steam devils here yet. Looking at -6 tomorrow morning. Bit of wind making that feel between -10, -15. Not much of an improvement by the afternoon. Still cloudy. Saskatoon, I think things will be a little bit sunnier for you tomorrow morning, but it'll be chilly to start the day, feeling like -20 and then jumping to around -6. Now, a very important day on Sunday because it is the CJFL semi-final, and the Saskatoon Hilltops face off against the St. Clair Saints, and we're looking for temperatures actually not too bad for the game. Mostly cloudy, -2, little breezy at times, but overall, we're hoping the Saskatoon Hilltops have a good outcome for this one, Sam.
That is not bad for late October.
No, very nice.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And as he mentioned, the Saskatoon Hilltops have that one last hill to climb before they get a shot at a national title. They get home field advantage on Sunday when they face the Saints for that national semifinal. Both are undefeated in their respective divisions. So we caught up with the Hilltops before their big game.
What I saw in that field on Sunday was a poise and confidence that I hadn't always seen. And I got to see it in the right players that needed to have that. And, you know, it's just that feel, that eye test that I got that, you know what, these guys had it, and they knew they had it. Don't let the moments get bigger than what they are. At the end of the day, we got to have our best practice of the year tonight, and then we got to stack that and build on that. And, you know, let's not even worry. You know, the team we're playing is nameless and faceless to us, compared a little bit different to Regina. But, you know, we know what they're going to do. We got the film on them. We're educating them how to play. They just got to stay within themselves, do their job, and not get ahead of themselves. We have such a great tradition and legacy that we coach into that, and these guys want to be a part of that, and they know to be a part of it. We only celebrate the championship teams. So every year is a good year, no matter what it is. But for something different here, to have 22 national champions and going for the next one, you know, people understand that this is bigger than them.
Yeah, the hands might get a little cold, the body might get a little cold, but I think it could play a huge effect from them all coming all the way over there where it's hot to down here. It's pretty cold, and going out there and practicing every day, it definitely plays a factor. And when your hands are cold and it's hard to play, but I think it'll be hard for them to come down here and play.
Well, hopefully they have a successful game. Kickoff for the Hilltops and Saints, 1 o'clock at SMS Field on Sunday afternoon. The winner goes on to play in the Canadian Bowl against the BC champion on November 11th. And that is it for us this week. For News Anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask, subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app. Ethan and I will be back with more tonight at 11. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.